Remember that Refused Comeback album? This isn't that. Oh god. Oh god. Hey there, what's up? Welcome to another review. I don't do a lot of these, but you know, some days you just feel more reviewy than others. So, At the Drive-In are back after 136 years with Interalia, and man was I worried about this album. I fucking love Cedric and Omar. In fact, I grew out my hair for this review as a tribute to them. I've been following Omar's output for a pretty long time. Mars Volta? Love. Bosnian Rainbows? Love. Anti-Mask? Love. His solo career? You know, it's kinda... So when I heard a new At the Drive-In album was dropping, I was pretty apprehensive. Okay, first things first, this was never going to be Relationship of Command, don't even go there. This album is much more in the vein of In Casino Out, El Gran Orgo or Vea, their earlier stuff. Maybe by way of Anti-Mask, that recent project they were working on. But it also has echoes of bands like Rise Against, kind of a contemporary punk feel to it too. So we live in the era of reboot culture and remakes and nostalgia acts, but At the Drive-In is a whole other kettle of fish. Or kettle of El Pasians. These people are artists and real people and pretty upfront about their motives and why they play music. I saw them perform last month here in New York and I gotta say they were pretty fucking amazing. And most importantly, they were into it. I was so happy to see that they were actually into it. It's the most I've seen Omar dance since the first round of Mars Volta tours, I think. That guy doesn't fake his orgasms. So yeah, I was pretty excited to see if the liveness of that show would carry through onto this new album, and for the most part it pretty much has. Now, don't get me wrong, they sound like 40-year-olds. But they sound like good 40-year-olds. I think it was Paste magazine that recently put it really well about the new album. It isn't that there's less energy, it's that it's distributed in a different way. Opting to use very little overdubbing, these songs are punchy and catchy and At the Drive-In-y as hell. I want to look at this album in the context of At the Drive-In. Not nostalgia acts, not reboot culture, but the music. I want to know if the music is good. Because for me, these guys have been just active for years, and this is just another stop on a very long tread of different projects. So the only question really is, do the songs stand up? I've listened to this album pretty much constantly since it came out, and I gotta say I'm really happy with it. It's like fucking phew, because it could have been really shit. Yeah, it's got a kind of a Anti-Mask, the Drive-In flavor to it, but these guys really seem to be enjoying being back in a band together again. The breakdown towards the end of Continuum, so much heft, I love it, it just took me right back. Track 3, Tilting at the Uni Vendor, what a sincere fucking lovely song. And the guitar play is almost Fang Island-like. Reminds me of why I adored and was obsessed with this band growing up. But if you want to get this new iteration of At the Drive-In or see what they're about, maybe the chorus of Pendulum in a Peasant Dress is fucking the shit. It kind of showcases where they're at while carrying along the ferocity they've had from their earlier years. Overall, there's a shit ton of energy here, which I'm so happy to see also. But there's also a sense of progression. And finally, another awesome thing is the band in a garage, low overdub count, rawness. The band in a garage, low overdub count, rawness. Sometimes it just grates and it feels like a little sparse on the track sometimes. It feels like the whole thing could have been a bit fuller at points, and occasionally Omar's tone is just a little too saturated in like some chorus or some basic ass pedal. The intros for some of the songs are a little bit generic, a little bit underwhelming. And this is coupled with a few lead lines throughout that, while they do give the vocals some space to work, they're a little bit uninspired, a little bit bland, a little bit dialed in. And finally, for the bad, the intro on Holzclaw is just basic. It's below them. It's below them. I don't know what they were thinking. It's just super basic. The song itself is fantastic, but that intro is just... I think my posture's been pretty shitty for this whole thing. I should have set up and tried to... yeah. And as one YouTuber commented on the Governing Contagions video back in December, I think, this is how you redeem 2016. I think that encapsulates how a lot of us feel about At the Drive-In. We're just glad to have them back. This album isn't going to change any lives. It might not win over a whole new generation of fans, but it's a really good rock album and it's a really good reintroduction to the band. If they can keep it together, keep making music, I would love to see where they go from here. One other tiny point I'd like to make, speaking about context and judging the album. If this album had come out right before Relationship of Command, then Relationship of Command happened and the band disbanded, I feel like we could look at this album under a much different light of just another entry in their catalogue. And if we could view it that way, we would see that this is just a solid piece of work from an awesome band who are doing something different. Alas, I'm sure a lot of people are going to come down hard on this album. I'm guessing a 6 from Anthony Fantano. I feel like Pitchfork will probably give it a 4, or maybe if they're feeling generous, a 6. I'm gonna go ahead and call it a really great album out of 10. Thank you so much for watching my review, I really appreciate it. Back to regular programming next week.